Hi, and welcome to the University of South Carolina Volleyball Manager Orientation and Training. Today you will learn a lot about what it takes to be a University of South Carolina Volleyball Manager. We are a Division I school, and we compete at the highest level in the SEC. Over the next 20 minutes, our orientation and training will cover 4 sections. NCAA compliance, university policies, and professionalism will cover our orientation segment. And lastly, you will learn manager training through video and PowerPoint presentation. At the end of each section, you will take a quiz. These short quizzes are designed to help make sure that you have retained all the important knowledge that you will need to know come practice time. What you will do is you will type up each answer into a Word document and then email that to us at uscvolleyball@email.sc.edu. In order to pass this orientation training, you must get every question right. However, multiple attempts will be allowed. Our first section, our NCAA compliance section, will cover 3 general areas. It will cover general requirements of being a student manager, approved NCAA student manager responsibilities, and banned NCAA student manager activities. These are all very important because if you do not understand them, you could commit violations which hurt the program. There are 3 general requirements for being a student manager as per the NCAA. The first is that you must be a full-time student as defined by your university. For us, that means that you must have 12 hours as an undergrad or 9 hours as a graduate student. If you drop out of these classes at any point, you must maintain that minimum hours to be eligible to be a manager. Secondly, you must sign an NCAA student manager agreement. This can be located in the volleyball handbook. The last thing is that you must sign University of South Carolina complimentary admissions agreement. This just states that you understand that you cannot sell your tickets or give them to student athletes. Regarding NCAA rules is that if at any point you are unsure, you can always look it up in the manual or contact your local compliance officer. Some of the things that are covered in approved student manager responsibilities are performing things that student managers should do, such as laundry, hydration, equipment, etc. You should not be practicing and competing at a high level with the athletes, as that is not what a student manager is designed to do. You may, however, participate in dummy offense, or for volleyball, you can serve to the people so that they can get returns in practices like that. Other things include just assisting coaches with travel, catering, etc., but not recruiting. On the other hand, there are some things that are banned by the NCAA for student managers. As per bylaw 11.1.6, student managers cannot participate in drills and scrimmages, participate in CARE activities, which are countable athletic-related activities, aka practice, weight training, etc., or provide instruction to student athletes. This means that if a player is serving wrong, you cannot tell her to raise her elbow at a different angle to improve her serve. That would be giving instruction. However, you may act as a cheerleader, and when she does make a good serve, you can congratulate her and give her a high five. The last thing that is banned is you cannot recruit PSAs, which are prospective student athletes, via calling, texting, or emailing in order to recruit them. Now that you have finished the first section of orientation, you are about to take a quiz. You will have the next 60 seconds to answer the following questions below. When you complete your answers, please put them into a Word document and email them to us so that we know that you have the answers right. If you have any questions, feel free to pause the video and call or email us in order to continue.
The next section we'll be focusing on here is university policies. We'll be looking at 4 different components here. The first is campus rules, which has to do with when student managers can and cannot use the facility. The second is with driving, which is in regards to who is allowed to operate university vehicles. The third has to do with laundry and how to organize and handle laundry items. Lastly, it has to do with team travel and how to behave when on the road. The first section that we'll focus on today is campus rules. The most important thing that student managers must remember is that they're not only representing themselves, but they're also representing the university. So they must handle themselves in a respectful and proper manner at all times when in the facility. Student managers are permitted to use the facility in ways deemed acceptable by their supervisors, but they may not use the facility simply for personal use. The next section that we'll focus on today is driving. When it comes to driving, only those who are given proper authorization to use the vehicles may do so. These drivers must meet certain requirements in order to be granted permission to operate a university vehicle. Vehicles should be operated in a safe and reasonable manner at all times. There are also very strict guidelines put in place as to when and where these vehicles can be used. The next section that we'll focus on today is laundry. When it comes to laundry, student managers will be given certain instructions by their supervisors on how to handle this laundry. These instructions may include such things as how to sort the laundry, checking all the pockets for any items that might have been left over, treating stains, the proper laundry load amounts, which temperatures to use for both the washer and dryer, and how to fold and properly store all these items. The last section that we'll focus on today is team travel. As I had mentioned before, it's always important for student managers to remember that when they're on the road, they're not only representing themselves, but also the university, so they should keep that in mind. They must also dress appropriately. Dress is determined ahead of time by their supervisor. They must also complete all assigned tasks when on the road and may not wear any team apparel in any establishment that would be considered unacceptable. It is very important that student managers remember all rules and regulations that must be followed as put in place by the university. Not cooperating with these guidelines can lead to serious consequences and potentially even termination. Well, now that you have learned about the various university policies, it is time for you to take a quiz. Please take the next 60 seconds to complete it, and please email us your answers when you are finished. Thank you. The next topic that we'll look at today is professionalism. When it comes to professionalism, we will be breaking down what is professionalism, why it is important, how to properly act professional, including what to wear and what not to wear, and things that would be deemed unacceptable behavior. The first thing we'll look at today is what is professionalism. Professionalism is a competence or skills expected of a professional. In regards to professionalism, student managers must know how to interact with their coaches, players, and administrators. You wouldn't want to talk to the coaches and players the same way that you might talk to your friends at home. So it is important for student managers to know their role and always respect their coaches. The next section that we'll look at today is why is professionalism important. As we have mentioned various times before, it is very important for student managers to remember that they're not only representing themselves, but also the university and the volleyball team as well. By acting in a professional manner, you'll be creating a reputation for yourself that could potentially benefit you in the future. The next thing that we'll look at today is how to act professionally. This includes how you dress on game days, in the office, and on the road. It also includes how you handle yourself at all times, including using good manners and interacting professionally with coaches and players. You must always do what you're told and always show respect for your elders. This is an example of what would be deemed acceptable to wear as a student manager. Here's an example of attire that would not be acceptable to wear as a student manager. The last thing that we will focus on today is what not to do as a student manager. As a student manager, you should never attend any parties or social gatherings outside of work and any team apparel. You should also never talk poorly about the program to others and should never behave in a manner that would reflect poorly on the program or university. You have now learned what is expected of you as a student manager in regards to how to properly dress and behave when at work. It is always important to remember to interact professionally with all coaches and players and never act in a way that would reflect the program or university poorly. We now ask that you kindly take the next 60 seconds to complete this short quiz, and please email us your answers when you are all done. Thank you. Now